the biggest thing is come as you are. I feel like most of like what people say is, oh, but I've done this in the past, or I dress this way, but I can't let go of my habits. I can't do this. Like before I go to church, I have to drop all these things. I'm like, no, like you need to come as you are because God already loves you the way you are. He just wants you to give him a chance.
Today, we're meeting Karen and her journey from not knowing God at all, not growing up in the church, to falling in love with Jesus and her church community. It's an inspiring story. I know you're gonna love it. Welcome to Tea Talks. Karen, I'm so excited to do this with you, to get to know you not even better. This is actually the very first time we meet, except for talking on text. This is the first time we meet in person, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So this is great because I have the opportunity to meet a new friend today. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity because, I'm so blessed to be here.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So I like to start getting to know you. So why don't you tell me a little bit of who you are?
Yeah. So I'm Karen. So I'm a young adult living in the South region here. I'm currently a nurse.
Nice.
I kind of consider, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of hard to like not identify myself as a nurse because I just love being for people, just forgiving.
If that's how you like,
yeah, no.
That's awesome. It became your identity. You like to do that. Yes. That is awesome.
Yeah. I guess I just love spending time with family. Yeah. I like to like read. I like to just be in the Word really.
Yeah. That's great.
I recently started taking my relationship with God really seriously. Nice. So I've just really, I feel like most of my time now is like, even at work, like I talk about God, and at home, I try to spend as much as my time and everything. So I'm just thriving here.
That's awesome.
in the world.
That's awesome. How was before? So right now you're having a really good relationship with God.
Yes.
How did you grow up?
So my family, we had, like, I knew about God, but I never really went to church. It was like, they just told me, God is, big, powerful spirit that lives in the world and he watches over us, but he like condemns us if we're wrong. So that's kind of like how I grew up.
So you didn't grow up like in a family that went to church every week or things like that?
No, I did not.
No.
So I had a great grandmother who would come from El Salvador because where my family's from. And she would come and she was like, she would tell me like what they would do in her church, but I never knew about her church. And like you said, I never was around church. I would go to church like, when I was young, but it was like twice a year. Like I barely remembered going. But no, the reason how I got into Christianity actually,
that was my next question.
Yeah. I had a cousin, her family, I just knew like they would talk about God, they would pray. I would go over to their house and they would pray before they eat. And I'm like, oh, what are we doing here? Like, why are we saying these things before we eat? Why are we
closing our eyes?
Yeah, I know. And then they started little by little, talk about God around me, but I wasn't really understanding what was going on. So I asked my cousins, look, we would go play with our Barbies and things, and I'd be like, hey, like, what were they talking about? Like, who is this person? Like, and like when she would like come over, but sometimes she would have to leave to go to church. I'd be like, but why do you go to church? Like, why do you love church more than me? Type of thing. So really they were the ones who really opened my eyes. Like I would go to.
So you came to become a Christian by yourself, not with your family?
No, actually, that's true. Yeah. So when I would like, sometimes my mom, I thank God for my mom, because even though she didn't really I guess not really believe, but like really wasn't into it. She let me go. Like I could talk to her about things and she would kind of share as much as she knew, but not really know what more. So like when I told her like, hey, can I go to church today with my cousin? She's like, oh yeah, go ahead. My dad is very much doesn't believe in things like that.
Until today, or it was in the past?
So today, thank God my mom got baptized last year.
Amen.
So she said like through me just going to church and everything, talking to her about the Lord.
So you're the one who brought the family to the church.
Yeah. So thank God my mom. My sister, she's like, I see her starting to dive in through my mom and me. But my dad has not yet.
It's okay.
But I'm just so thankful, so blessed. At least my mom. I mean, I helped someone, I guess, get there.
Yeah, I know. I understand. Because like in my family, I was the only one who became a Christian, got baptized and all of that. for about 10 years, this has been like 20 years, but for about 10 years, I was the only one. Well, my husband and I came together, but I was the only one in my family. He was the only one in his family. Today, I have my sister and my mom that are Christians today.
That's
but
awesome.
So I understand it's in their time. It's in God's time. Let's be honest.
Yes.
It's in God's time.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Your cousin, you said, right?
Yes.
Your cousin was the one who started introducing you to something different, prayer, church, and things like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you had, and you don't have to have, I just asked because some people have, some people don't, and it's okay if you don't. Did you have that moment when something clicked, or was just a progression, natural progression, that was not like a special moment?
So my mom, so like how I kind of was introduced with like how it kind of clicked a little bit. When I was young, like I always had something in my head, like, no, that's wrong. Like, that's wrong. Like, don't do that. Like I had that conscious, but in my head, I'm like, but who's telling me that? Like, who's telling me, like, how do I know without really knowing what's good and right? Because, there's sometimes like your mom would tell you, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. But like, obviously, we don't have advice for all things in life. We just have that.
Mom is not with you 24 hours a day, every single minute.
Mm-hmm. So then I was like, well, what's telling me that? So then like my cousin would be like, no, but that's like God in your head type of thing. So then I was like, okay, so there is someone like bigger and out there trying to tell me things. But I think it was really a progression. I think I didn't really learn. You
didn't have like a conversion moment. Mm-mm. It was like a progression of things that happened.
I think it finally clicked, I think, in college for me. That's when it finally clicked.
Okay. So you pretty much had a life until college that wasn't really religious or God or church. How did that transition feel in relation to former friends, or is still I couldn't say former friends because at that point they were not former friends. How was this transition affected, like friendship, family, and things like that?
I think I'm still going through that transition today, actually.
Yeah.
So I've always like in high school and college, I've always known like I don't want to be around like certain type of people, right? Because I know like my mom was always like, be careful who you are. Like she's like, whoever you are is who you'll be.
Whoever you're with.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then I grew up with that. So I was always very careful about that. But right now I've let go a lot of friends, actually. Yeah. It was really painful.
Did your friends feel like, oh, she changed, she's not the same, this is bothering? Did that ever happen?
Yes, it did. I used to be someone who was hookah club like all the time. I'm someone who used to drink all the time. Like I was always out late. I was always doing things I shouldn't have been doing. So when I started going to church, like, hey, what are you doing now? You don't like to dance? I thought you liked to dance. I thought you didn't like to drink. Now you don't. And like, I think I got most of that from my family. I think when I started.
Oh, the family.
Yes, that's my family. Because, like I come from a Hispanic background. So it's like a huge, like when the parties are like 50 people there all the time.
Yep. I know how that is.
So then when I would go over, like, they would, because I'm like of age or whatever. So they would, they would give me alcohol. Like we would dance, secular music and things like that. So then I started dressing a little different when I wouldn't dance anymore. I didn't drink. I think that's when it was like difficult. Because they were like, oh, wow, you're lame. Oh, wow, like you've changed. Like, wow, I don't even recognize you. Oh, do you think you do this now? You're going to be holy. Oh, now do you do this? You think you're going to be saved? Like, I got a lot of that.
Yeah. I went through that too.
Yeah.
That's why I knew to ask, because I went through that too. And the worst was really my family. Because they were like, what's happening with you? It's weird. It's different. And I respect them. I understand. They didn't have that encounter, so they won't understand what was happening. How did that affect you?
It made me really sad. I think sad in the way that it made me sad that they didn't understand how good it was to be on my side, like to understand what Jesus had done for us. It was like, wow, like I wish you could understand, but you don't.
It's like, if you only knew how good this is, I'm not suffering.
Yeah, no.
That is something that happened to me too. They were like, oh, but you don't drink, you don't do this, you don't do that. Like they thought that I was a sad person. I was like, you don't understand. I'm so much happier than I was before. It's so different. Because when we go clubbing, I did for a long time too. You're happy at that moment.
Yeah, but
nobody knows the next day that you're depressed. Nobody knows what's happening to your mind. And like my life was like high, low, high, low.
Yes.
Now it's like that constant, I do have the really happy moments, and sometimes I'm down, but the majority of the time you're like, troubles come. We know how to handle it with God, so those emotions are not so crazy like it was before. You know,
Yes.
I prefer this way.
I agree too. I think like definitely in college, I felt a lot of highs and lows. Like I remember like I would be like happy I passed a test and go clubbing. The next day I was like, oh, I'm hungover. I don't feel like doing anything. But I was also like I said, sad because, you know, they didn't understand the good news I've heard, but I also like, it felt lonely too. I mean, it felt, I was like, wow, like, it came to like question my faith. I was like, is it worth it? Is it worth losing all these family and friends who say they love me? They say they care for me. And now they're like concerned for like, they were like concerned for my well-being. Like thought I was like choosing like death, but I was like, no, I'm choosing life, you know?
So my question is, was it worth it?
Yes, it was. Oh my gosh.
How is life today?
Life today is getting better. I feel like, I don't know, as a young person, I feel like the enemy's always there to attack you.
Yep.
But I feel like I know that's why I'm going the right direction. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
No, I understand. I understand.
Right now, I'm going through difficult things right now in my life, but I'm just somehow, I was telling my mom, like literally, she's in El Salvador right now, vacation.
Oh, that's nice.
So I was telling her, I was like, you know, I'm going through difficult things, but like, I'm just so blessed. Like, I find comfort. Like I read the Psalms.
You face things differently now.
Yeah. I read the Psalms. Like I was crying and reading it. By the end of, I read like 5 Psalms. And by the end of it, I was like, wow, like I'm so grateful. I praise God. Like I'm so blessed. Like I'm going through these difficulties, but it's only so I can grow closer to God, like surrender to God.
As you're going through struggles, do you feel like you have support?
Yes. Thank goodness my mom. Oh my God, I will always be so blessed for my mom. Even though my dad is not like in the church or anything, he even supports me. Like I tell him, I can openly talk about him. He may not agree with everything I say, but at least he'll listen, understand. And my sister too. My sister is also, like I said, diving in slowly. But I can also talk to her openly. And like because like of everything I'm going through, I've lost a lot of friends, but I've kept one. Yes. She's also like diving into, she had a bad relationship with, you know, growing up with in the religion, her family. So I think that's what's caused like her, I guess, little, not confusion, but just, you know, not
skepticism. No, she's like,
just kind of like scared.
I'm a little traumatized.
Yeah. But like literally like last week, I went to go talk to her about like all the struggles I've been through because I haven't seen her in a long time. So it's like a girl to catch up and talked about. And I was telling her like, you know, I'm just so comforted, like reading the Bible. And even though she doesn't agree, she's like, wow, like I'm happy for you. At least you find comfort in something.
That's
and I was
nice.
like, thank you.
So you converted, you got baptized.
Yes.
How is the church community?
It's good. Yeah. I found Jesus in that church, honestly. Because it was kind of scary at first because like, you know how we both share the same story. Like I was the only one. Like I would show up church alone. Like it's very frightening as a little like 20-year-old like showing up, not knowing anything. Like I felt, you know, like the enemy will always tell you like, you don't deserve to be here. Like, what do you think? Who do you think you are stepping into church? You're lonely. Like, don't you want to be at home with everybody else?
Look at everything you did.
So thank goodness, like I walk in and like still today, like the church, when someone new arrives, like, hey, like welcome, like we love you, like please stay here. Like
so you are in a good church.
Yes, they're so welcoming. Like I have never felt so welcome before. Like I felt like it was Jesus telling me like, no, like this is the right place. Like you're welcome here.
This is the place for you.
Yes. And they're really open to like young people too. That's what I really like. So
you came from never being in church and now you have a church community. How is church life for you? What is the day-to-day? Are you involved in ministry? How is Karen in the church?
So recently, like I started going to church and I got baptized, but unfortunately I went back to my old ways. I mean, I feel like
that may happen.
Yeah. So in the past year, like when my mom got baptized again, that's when I finally started going back. So at first my church life was just like, just showing to the church. Like that was my goal. Like just be here on time. Let me go to church, you know? But now this year I've been given the privilege to be, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it in English, like diaconisa, like a
deaconess.
Yeah. So that I'm like
the two that don't speak English.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like I'm trying to help you out, but I'm not that much better.
Yeah. So I guess deaconess. I guess that's what I do in the church. So so it's nice because like I remember feeling that way. Like I love that I'm able to greet people because I remember like that first time going to church and you don't know like, oh my God, should I be here? So I love welcoming people. You know, just being in church, like just welcoming and just being around. And now. A few months ago, I'm like part of the subdirector of the Grupo de Jóvenes like youth group. So now, actually, this Saturday, they said officially like every third weekend of the month, I'm able to host like a youth program at night.
That's nice.
So I'm finally getting more involved, which is so awesome because it helps encourage me. Like when I feel discouraged, like when I don't want to go to church and when I don't feel like this is worth, like not worth it, but like when I'm just tired and everything, I have these positions where, you know, like.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if becoming a leader of the church has brought you closer to God.
Yes, I've realized how it's made me really dependent. I realized one of my struggles was I thought, like, I guess how I grew up and everything, I'm always growing up to be very independent. My mom, my dad worked really hard. So I'm always was taking care of others and my sisters and everything. I thought I'm the only one that could do this. But it really, with these new positions, since I didn't know how to do these things, like I didn't know how to greet people. I didn't know how to I still don't know. I'm still learning like how to lead like a youth group program. So it really makes me like rely, like I have to pray to God like every day. Like I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to do this. But like I said, thank God for my church and my community because they're so welcoming. Like, oh no, I can reach out to like certain leaders. Like, no, I know how to do this. I know exactly who can help you with this. So yes,
two questions came to mind.
Go ahead.
One, do you think that the skills you're learning at church, it's going to help you even professionally?
Yes. It's made me more collaborative. As a nurse, like you get like 5 patients and those are your 5 patients. And like, based on like, you kind of run the program. You decide how you're going to do your day. But with this now it's made me able to like, I'm like, okay, like when I'm struggling with like my tasks, like if I have 5 tasks to do in 1 hour, I can reach out to other people. It's made me more open and more like
to reach out and more people skills.
Yes.
More,
and how to like how to talk to people. And it's also helped me with like God because like I work with cancer patients, so it's it's a little rough.
Yes.
Emotionally. Yes.
And the second question that came to my mind was, you mentioned that sometimes you don't know how to greet people and all of that. Did you have mentors, and how important do you think mentors are?
Super important. Yes, I remember when they asked me to be the deaconess, and I was like, I don't even know how to do that. She's like, don't worry. Like we have this, like they did like a whole meeting. Like we went through the Bible about like what the Bible says specifically about these roles. And like I reach out to I would watch, like when they gave me the role, they let me know a few months in advance. So then when I go to church, I was really watching, like, what do they do when they walk in through the door? They're really good examples. So I felt comfortable.
I think one of the things that are very detrimental to young people is that when they finally give them a position, nobody's there to help them out. Yes. And then they fail, and it's the fault of the young person. So I believe mentorship is extremely important. Oh, yes. But a lot of people think, oh, no, but the young people don't want to have mentors. And I don't think that's true.
No, like you said, it's so frightening. It's so scary. You're like, you feel like Moses, like, I can't do this. But they encourage you. Like I have this one special lady in church who is literally welcome me every single time. When she sees me again, she doesn't like discourage me. She's like, I haven't gone to church in like a month or 2. She's not like, oh, why haven't you gone to church? And
I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah. She's like, I'm just so happy you're back again. Like, tell me what's going on. Like, how can I help you? She doesn't, she's just so comforting in that way. And I would consider her my mentor. I come, any questions, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Help me, please. She's always there. Like, literally, I can text her and she's there for me.
Are there a lot of young adults in your church?
There is a lot of young adults, but I just don't see them.
You don't see them?
Yes.
How is that? Explain to me.
Because it was one time, which I'm thankful for my church too. Like we're trying to, I think it's like the youth is just, I think it's just discouraging. I think it's just how the world is now. So I thought it was only a few young people because few people like get there a little earlier and then, service starts around 11ish. So then I see more people come in and everything. But I'm like, oh, I don't see a lot of young people. But then one time the church let like the whole youth lead the whole program that day, like from like the choirs to the preacher, like everything was young. Like,
so then you saw there's a lot of youth.
Yes, I guess like they encourage each other, like, hey, we're leading it. It's not gonna be the adults, it'll be
so
youth.
So they are probably like children of the members, but they don't usually show up.
Yes.
Why do you think they're not showing up? What do you think are the struggles of young people? So many.
I can't speak for all of them.
Things that you have noticed.
At least I could say like things that I guess it's just lies you think, the lies you believe. Like I can like my husband, like he's still diving into like the faith, and my sister, I'm like, I asked them like, what makes you not want to go? And I remember when I didn't want to, and I think that you see the older people, you're like, wow, they're so poised and they're
perfect.
They're
I'm
perfect.
never gonna be like
and
that.
And then as a young person, you've done things, so then it makes you not want to go. I think that lie of people in church are perfect, and it's like, no, it's a hospital. It's not like, the perfect
people are
place.
not perfect. People are not perfect. I think it takes the both sides. I think it takes the young people, because sometimes we're assuming they're judging us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that I'm the young person, but anyway. Sometimes
but it's true though.
Sometimes the young person assumes they're judging, but also on the other side, sometimes the older people are acting as they are judging,
Mm-hmm.
So I think it takes both sides. The young person, don't just assume, go, try, take initiative too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame just the older generation.
Oh yeah.
But the older generation also needs to look at themselves and say, hey, am I doing anything to push them out? So I think there's the two sides. It's not just one side.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I would say the only other thing, I guess, is just like the music. I know that's probably like everyone says. I like the little, like the like soft, like nice music. I do, but I feel like sometimes you need like more upbeat, just to help elevate you. In my church specifically, they do more like, like nice, like low music, like I said,
hymnals and things like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, once in a while we could, shake it up just to get people energized again, because, we're here to, praise him in a church and everything.
Music, like you said, people always bring up music and it seems to be trivial, but if everybody brings that up, it's because it's important.
Yeah.
And I think the mistake that we make is that we start defining what we think God accepts.
Mm-hmm.
And music, if you study music, it's so interesting because I had a completely different view than I have now before I went to seminary. When you actually do a study on music, you realize that a lot of the music that we think God doesn't accept is because you don't like it. So we say, we shouldn't worship with the music that I like, but it is our taste, because we really never went to God and say, hey, do you accept this? Like that kind of thing. And it's interesting how music becomes a huge war in church. And the way that I select my music is like this. I look at the lyrics, because do you know that even in Christian music, you can have wrong doctrines in the music, So, I select them. I look at how it is, and that's how I make my judgment. But for me, not for other people. I think that's the big difference. What else?
I don't want to say dress code, because that's not really what it is. I think as someone, like, I was beginning,
but sometimes it is.
Yes. Sometimes it's just more like for the uniform at my church specifically, to be like the deaconess, you have to wear like I agree with like covering yourselves up. So I think that, we should say, our body should be modest. I totally agree with that. But sometimes like the dress code is like a long skirt with like a collared shirt that's white and a thing that's black, and this is black. And I'm like, why can't we just, do some fun colors once in a while?
I better not even get into the dress code situation because I'm going to get in big trouble. The Bible is very specific about dress. About no, hold it. Let me go back.
Okay, go ahead.
The specifications that the Bible says is not what we learn in church.
Oh,
there is pretty much two rules. Modesty, agree 100%. I don't think I should be showing my body.
I agree.
And it says there that men should not wear women's clothing, women should not wear men's clothing. Then the problem we get into is that we start defining what is men's clothing, what is women's clothing. When at the time of Jesus, everybody wore the same type of is it tunic or is it look like a sheet?
Yeah.
Men and women. But what made the difference was the material. So it's so interesting that we have all of these wars with music, with clothing, and it's just about the culture.
Yeah.
The culture that you live in. Because we go to Scotland and we have men in skirts.
That's true. Which is it's very normal of it. Very normal.
What do we do with that?
Yeah,
you know, if we would take our culture everywhere we want, you know, it's crazy.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
But I do believe that the three things that you mentioned are big, especially for young adults. And we are making things that are not principle into principles and pushing people, especially young people, away from the church.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I just remember like one time, like I remember I was starting to go to church and like, I was like, Ma, I have no clothes. She's like, yes, you do. I'm like, no, because this is not long enough. I'm like, or this doesn't cover here. Or I was like, or like I was like when I became the role to be the diaconisa, I gotta say in Spanish, that I was like, I don't have a black thing here. I don't have a black skirt. And like, obviously, like, you know, I thank God, like my job allows me to have enough money to buy these things. But like, I remember like,
you didn't have it.
I remember when I was in college, when I was like scrubbing the couches for pennies, if they were giving this role before, I wouldn't be able to buy the dress code, if that makes any sense. And it's not
only the role. What you're bringing up, it's something that a lot of people don't realize how serious this is. Somebody said that you have to bring your very best clothing to God.
Yes.
Somebody made that rule. It wasn't Jesus, by the way.
Yes, that's another thing. I agree.
It's not about the uniform, but it's like even the clothing that we go. And I had an experience. And by the way, at the time that I had this experience, I agreed at that point that we needed to put the best clothing. But my sister was visiting. And this is not the sister that is Christian today. This is a different sister.
Okay.
So I've been waiting 10 years to bring somebody from my family to church. She's visiting from Brazil. She comes to my house. And I'm talking about 10 years ago, okay? It was 10 years that I was trying to bring somebody, but it's been 10 years already. And then she goes, what should I wear? I already know her. If I tell her to dress up to, you know, the way that we do it, she was going to be tuned off. So I was like, just wear whatever you want. So we go to church, and the Brazilian churches are very similar to most of the Latin churches. Like you go, how do you say in English? Like completely decked out, like.
Yeah, no.
So
best clothing ever.
Yes. So we go to church. We get out of church, and I was like, "So, how did you like it?" And she goes, "I have never been to a place where the people are so snob. You guys dress in a way that I don't even dress when I go to a wedding. I am never stepping foot in your church ever again."
Whoa, that's a jaw dropper.
It was like, wow. So today we don't think that's a big deal, but it is.
Yeah, no.
It is. It's only when you have this kind of experience that you're like, and then we give excuse. We're like, oh, they didn't care for God. Listen, if they're not ready yet, if their heart is not ready, and you are putting a barrier before they can even meet God, you know, it's on us. I planted a church, and the first thing I asked was, please dress down. I'm not talking about take the worst thing you have, but please dress that is something relatable to the people outside, because the church is supposed to be missional, not supposed to be what we like. You know, the American churches are not so much like that, but the Latin church, oh my gosh, we are horrible. Okay, I'm gonna have a lot of hate for this comment, but anyways, trying to keep it real to what is important to young people. Question. With your experience coming from not being in church, now in church.
Yeah.
What is your advice to a young person that is struggling? Like, I feel like you were looking to fulfill this hole that you had in your heart, and you gave a chance to God.
Yeah.
Somebody that is struggling, what do you say?
Wow. So many things to say. I think the biggest thing is come as you are. I feel like most of like what people say is, oh, but I've done this in the past, or I dress this way, but I can't let go of my habits. I can't do this. Like before I go to church, I have to drop all these things. I'm like, no, like you need to come as you are, because God already loves you the way you are. He just wants you to give him a chance. So I just come as you are and give him a chance, really. Yeah,
that is what you just said. It's something that I try to tell people. But you're absolutely correct. Sometimes we have this attitude, and unfortunately, us leaders, sometimes we have this attitude and we push on the young people that first fix yourself, then you come to God. And it's the opposite. Come to God.
So he can change you.
he can change you what he thinks is important, not what I think, but what he thinks is
Yeah,
important.
because I feel like a lot of like for the young people, like I feel like we're always getting criticized. You're too big, or you're too small. You're too this. You're too that. You're not smart enough. Blah, blah, blah. Which is why I think it's like he loves you just. And then sometimes we just don't feel love. We're like, wow, nobody loves me. No one accepts me for who I am. Like you're trying to find validation of all these other sources when literally you can look up, and that's like all the love you need. So that's why I say just come as you are.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Karen, this was great.
I know, that's so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me, letting me get to know you.
Oh yeah, no, same.
And
likewise.
I really enjoyed this, getting to know you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.